What's going on, guys? Aero here, and guys, if you've been following up to date with all of the Nintendo Switch rumors we had before the Nintendo Switch was even announced and it was still called the NX, then you know that one of the big rumors that we had was that there's gonna be a Pokemon game coming to the Nintendo Switch, which is supposedly like codenamed Pokémon Stars. Now this was supposed to be coming out, I think they said like it was supposedly going to be coming out like early this year towards like the summer, but they said that they might be like pushing it back to coming out the holiday season instead, which would make sense. And I think that Pokemon Stars would be such a cool game to have on the Nintendo Switch. And I know how a lot of people were saying like Pokemon Stars is probably real because of how whenever we asked the Pokemon company or anybody, like if we interviewed them or asked them anything about it making games, the Pokemon company would happily reply like, yeah, we're thinking about making games for the Nintendo Switch, we're just unsure of how to use like the new power and all the capabilities that it has since they're so used to making games on the 3DS. But I definitely do think that Pokemon is going to be coming onto the Nintendo Switch, even though it hasn't been officially confirmed yet. I just think that it's coming. I think, you know, it would just be a really bad move for Nintendo to not have a Pokemon game to come on the Nintendo Switch, because believe it or not, Pokemon sells systems. I mean, if you want to believe it, you can, and if you don't, you don't have to, but it's the fact right there. Pokemon is what sells systems. Now when Pokemon X and Y came out, there were so many Nintendo 3DSs that were sold because people just wanted to play the next version of Pokemon, or like the next new generation of Pokemon. And while Pokemon Stars isn't supposedly going to be like a new generation, it's supposedly just going to be like a definitive version of Pokemon Sun and Moon. So it's like how Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is like the big version of Mario Kart 8. It's like the one that is actually like full of all this stuff. That's what Pokemon Stars is going to be like. It's going to be pretty much like Pokemon Sun and Moon, but it's going to be like still the Alola region and all of that, but actually like maybe a new story and something like that. Kind of like how Pokemon Black and White 2, where it was still like Unova, but it was like, you know, they changed up a few things about the story and stuff like that. That's probably what it's going to be like, and it's like a third version. So like, you know, we haven't had a third version in a while, like, you know, those games like Pokemon Emerald or like Pokemon Platinum or something like that. So it's going to be like a third version, and I think that that's pretty cool. A Pokemon game on the Nintendo Switch would definitely sell a lot of consoles. But you know, Pokemon Stars, it still hasn't been officially confirmed, and now a lot of people are saying if this thing is real, then it's definitely going to be shown at E3. Like Nintendo, they know that Pokemon is a really big franchise that they have, so they're going to hold off until E3 and show it then. But guys, even though some people are not believing Pokemon Stars is real and some people are, it looks like we might have gotten more information to actually help us believe that Pokemon Stars might in fact be a real thing. And so this information definitely got me really hyped, guys. Now I'm not trying to get you guys hyped for no reason. I am telling you guys right here that this is still basically a rumor. We can't say anything for sure yet. This isn't like a fact, but a lot of this stuff seems to line up, and I think that it definitely makes sense for a Pokemon game to be coming out, and I think that we should look forward to it. But I'm not telling you guys right now to get really hype and, you know, get aboard the hype train. I think, you know, we should still just keep it a little bit easy because we don't know what's going to happen. I just think that there's a good chance that we are going to be getting a Pokemon game. But yeah, let's talk about the rumor that I have here. I have two things that could really give us a good idea if Pokemon is actually going to be coming onto the Nintendo Switch. And now the first thing that I want to talk to you guys about is the Pokemon Center. Now I'm not talking about a Pokemon Center inside of Pokemon games. Now if you guys don't know, there is actually something called like a legit Pokemon Center in real life, where like you can go there and you can buy a whole bunch of Pokemon merchandise. I think there's one in New York, or I think that there's some I think there's definitely one in Japan as well. But yeah, if you've ever been to a Pokemon Center, it's a lot of fun. I haven't been there myself, but if I find some pictures of how it looks inside, I'll put them on screen for you guys. But anyway, it's like a lot of fun inside there. You get a lot of like Pokemon plushies, and there's like Pokemon t-shirts and a whole bunch of cool stuff that you can buy there. And it was funny because on Nintendo, or like the Pokemon company's Pokemon Center website, they were talking about like some of the new merchandise that they're going to be selling, and they put up a picture saying that they should be focusing on like the stars. And I'll put up the picture for you guys to see, but they're going to be focusing a lot on Cosmog, which you know is a brand new Pokemon that was shown off in Pokemon Sun and Moon. It was a part of the Alola region, and it definitely plays an important role in how the story and everything develops in Pokemon Sun and Moon. I'm not going to spoil it for you guys if you haven't played the game, but yeah, Cosmog is definitely an important Pokemon, and they were having a lot of different merchandise that revolved around Cosmog. It was like Cosmog plushies, there was like a Cosmog phone case and stuff like that. But what was really funny was the picture that they were using to advertise it was like a Pikachu you know, on a telescope looking up at constellations in the stars, and all of these constellations were like different Pokemon, and it was really cool. But the thing was, like, right below where that picture is, it says "Look upon the stars." Now, obviously, you know, this could just be a coincidence. They're selling Cosmog merchandise, so that, you know, they want to get that whole feeling of like the cosmos and cosmic stuff and all that. So I guess you could say that, you know, it's just a coincidence that they're saying that, but it is still interesting how they're like focusing a little bit on the stars all of a sudden, and we are approaching E3. I mean, I'm just saying that, I'm just putting that out there, that we are approaching E3 and they are talking about this a little bit. So it is pretty interesting to think about that and kind of speculate on Pokemon Stars if it actually might be a real thing. So I think that that's really cool, and even if there is going to be a Pokemon Stars, I think the whole Cosmog thing seems to make sense a little bit as well. You know, how they could revolve a little bit around Cosmog and maybe like that new third legendary Necrozma that's in Pokemon Sun and Moon as well. Maybe they could like come up with like a story based around that. So I think that that seems pretty cool, and it's definitely interesting how they're talking about stars. So yeah, that's like the first thing right there. I think that is pretty interesting. But the second thing that I want to talk to you guys about is something that I found on NeoGAF. Now, this isn't really like tied to Pokemon, but it is still something that's interesting and could be tied to Pokemon. And the thing that I'm talking about is that someone on NeoGAF was able to say that there could be a Nintendo Direct coming. Now, I know what you guys are saying. You're like, Aero, what are you talking about? We just had a Nintendo Direct like a few weeks ago. There's no way that we could have one right now. And I understand what you're saying, but I think that this person who's on the NeoGAF thread, and I'll have this linked in the description if you want to check it out for yourself, this person is definitely onto something. Now, we can't say this is like confirmed, but it is something that's interesting. And what it is that I'm talking about is, if you ever go on Nintendo's website or like Nintendo Japan's website, then whenever like we have a Nintendo Direct, all of the Nintendo Directs that we have are like archived onto their page, and like you can look on their page and find all of the Nintendo Directs that have happened. And since you go to the Nintendo website to watch the Direct when it's happening live, there's usually a new slot that opens up for a brand new Direct that's going to be happening. So what this person is able to say is, like, whenever we have all of the directs for right now, and we know that there's not going to be a new direct coming for a while, pretty much like the day after direct or something, then you can look at the page and everything is organized and it's like easy to look through all of the directs. But whenever we have a new direct coming, a few days prior, there's going to be like a new slot that opens up in the code of the website, and like you can see that there's going to be like a new slot for some new video to go on there, and like that, then usually after, in like a few days or so, they announce that there's going to be a Nintendo Direct coming. So that's pretty interesting, because the person is saying that right now, today, a new slot has opened up on that page, you know, kind of hinting that a Nintendo Direct might actually be coming. Now, even though this is on the Nintendo Direct's like page, there's usually a whole bunch of other like kind of big things that Nintendo streams that appear on here as well. So I'm not going to say right for certain if this is actually going to be like a Nintendo Direct. And what I'm talking about is, like, if you guys remember in 2015 when Nintendo was revealing like their E3 plans for what they were going to be doing, they had like a little presentation. It was like a funny little skit between Reggie and some like other people at Nintendo. They had a little skit that they live streamed, and that was something that could kind of be considered like a Nintendo Direct, because it was a big kind of video that they live streamed and they wanted people to see it live. So it could be something like that. If they're like putting out a video for like their plans of E3 or something like that, that could be something that they have planned, and that could be why that slot is open. There could also be a Nintendo Direct coming, even though we just had one. And, you know, thinking about Pokemon Stars as well, I kind of do understand if they want to reveal that game before E3, because it's not like it's a brand new generation of Pokemon. It's not like it's going to be an entirely new Pokemon game. It's still going to be the Alola region with Team Skull and all of that probably. So I can understand if they want to reveal that first. And also another thing is, we do get a good amount of Pokemon announcements in May, so it does seem likely that we could get a Pokemon announcement right now. I think Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire were first revealed in May as well, so it all seems like it could be a possibility. Pokemon Stars is looking really strong for a chance to actually happen. Personally, I think for myself that it is actually going to happen. I think we are going to be getting a Pokemon Stars, but I'm just, you know, saying all of these rumors and stuff to try to give you guys an idea of how real the whole idea of Pokemon Stars being a real thing could actually be. So yeah, that's all of the stuff that I have to share with you guys today. Definitely leave a comment down below on what you guys think of all of this. Do you guys think Pokemon Stars is actually going to be a real thing? What do you guys think of this whole Nintendo Direct thing? Do you think it'll be an actual Nintendo Direct? Do you think it's some sort of live stream? I also forgot to mention that Nintendo does have like little micro directs that they have before the videos that they show at E3 as well. So maybe it could be something like that as well. So you guys can let me know down below in the comment section. And as always, if you guys enjoyed this video, please be sure to click that like button. Go follow me on Twitter at Aero, and subscribe to the channel if you're new, and thank you so much for watching.